Yup, these are the actual, extremely uncomfortable sounds that emanate from Resident Evil's tongue monsters known as lickers. Anything that makes child molester noises like this, whose name also happens to be Licker, is an obvious GTFO. Lickers are spawned from zombies, so it's horrifying right from the start of its life. During transformation, the zombie's skin peels off and the brain is exposed. Getting rid of all that skin tissue causes a huge boost in agility, which explains why these creatures jump great heights and are incredibly fast. Unfortunately for Lickers though, they're completely blind. Their brains are heavily expanded to the point of blocking their line of sight. But as a common occurrence, the loss of sight makes their hearing immensely improved, which goes hand in hand in its predatory habits. The Licker's most prevalent feature is that slimy tongue that reaches far, far from its mouth. That tongue is so powerful it can easily pierce victims and even decapitate some unlucky bastards. But how exactly are these creatures born? First, we have a typical everyday zombie. Eventually, that zombie's gonna run out of brains to eat, and once it does, it ironically dies from starvation. A mutation begins, and a licker is born. It answers the question of what actually happens when a zombie dies, and the obvious answer is that all those cells that have been experimented on, all that hazmat activity will continue expanding, leading to a horrifying mutation. It's important to note that this occurrence only happens to a few zombies every now and then. Now, although lickers are somewhat of a miraculous occurrence through some fucked up science, they weren't completely unexpected. Around 1998, Umbrella researchers saw the mutation early before lickers were an actual possibility. At some point during all that shady research, the first prototype lickers were born and were seen as a potential bioorganic weapon. Now, the intriguing thing is, lickers were never given a code name or a nickname while they were being experimented on. So how exactly did they receive that name? The Raccoon City outbreak occurred, and with more and more zombies roaming the streets, more potential lickers waited their turn to join the party. The nickname Licker was coined by a group of surviving Raccoon police officers who saw their fellow comrades get slaughtered by the unidentified beast. It was in this very police department that lickers were given that famous nickname. With more and more lickers roaming Raccoon City, the possibility of exposing their already mutating cells to even more deadlier gases became apparent. Evolved lickers were born by breathing in the chemical compounds of a gas that kills infected plants, giving them that reptilian skin armor and making them even buffer. These no longer naked lickers were obviously deadlier than their predecessors, but they were still blind. With the nuking of Raccoon City, so too followed lickers, wiping them out completely. But that didn't mean that eventually some fucked up individual known as Albert Wesker would see the value behind such predatory beasts. Around the time of Resident Evil 5, lickers were reborn and reprogrammed, this time in a laboratory setting known as Tricell. These lickers would be known as the Licker Beta stage and were given upgrades such as, oh yes, being able to reproduce. Finally, all that disgusting sexual energy finds a way out. A Tricell researcher known as Miguel gives his thoughts behind the process and marketability of these newly evolved lickers. He believes that these lickers are at a dead end in terms of improvements, with the only real breakthrough being an increased sense of smell. They're still blind, and Miguel refers to them as ugly as shit, which, kudos, Miguel. He notes the high demand for lickers in the BOW market, giving the impression that there were many buyers behind such a predator. In conclusion, lickers are incredibly terrifying creatures that were bred because science intended it. We all know how the food chain works, I hope, and lickers were a natural-born predator, given how sneaky they can be. What's your favorite licker moments in the Resident Evil series? Comment below, and if you'd like to see more lore videos on other creatures, I'm open to suggestions. Leave a like if you enjoyed, thanks for watching, and as always, stay single.